לפני 3 חודשים עברתי לתל אביב. ולפני שעברנו לתל אביב אמרנו שנעשה סריקה בכל הבית, לראות מה אפשר לקחת כדי לצמצם הוצאות כמה שיותר. אז היה רעיון שנעלה ליד גג ונבדוק מה יש שם בקופסאות הישנות, כי יש שם המון דברים מובהקים שאף פעם לא בדקנו, וכלים ששמרו לנו וכל מיני דברים, אז החלטנו שצריך לבדוק מה יש שם. ועלינו למעלה, ובזמן שחפרנו בדברים, פתאום מצאנו קופסה שהיה כתוב עליה Do not touch. So what do we do?
פתחנו את זה. אבל מה יכולנו לעשות? היה בזה חול ואבנים על הדבר הזה, ומלא בהשפעה, שקיות וזה. לא נכנסנו לתוך עליית הגג הזאת כבר 10 שנים עכשיו, יותר. וכאילו, מאיך שאנחנו מכירים את אבא, הוא תמיד היה עולה לעליית הגג ושם דברים שם בפנים, וכשהיינו שואלים אותו שאלות, הוא היה פשוט לא עונה והיה הולך. מה אני יודע?
מצאנו תמונות שלו עם אפרו, סיגריות, קצת שיקור בכל מיני מסיבות, קלפים, כאלה, דברים של פוקר. מצאנו סטאש של כמה מאות דולרים.
זה מפתיע. פשוט מפתיע לראות את כל הסודות האלו שהוא שומר ממני כבר, שומר מאיתנו כל כך הרבה שנים. אני שואל את עצמי, איך זה שזה פתאום ככה, איך שאני כבר מכיר אותו, זה כאילו יש פיצול באישיות שלו. חלק אחד שהוא איש נורא נחמד ונקי מכל הסמים והאלכוהול והאגו הזה שלו.
מסתבר שלא, מסתבר שאת חושבת שאת מכירה בן אדם כל החיים ומתברר לך שזה שקר אחד גדול. הבן אדם שאת סומכת עליו וכביכול אמורה לקחת ממנו דוגמה הוא בעצם הפושע הכי גדול בישראל.
We got married in September 1959, and a few months later we were told that for whatever reason we weren't able to have any children. So we approached the social services, right?
Yeah.
And we were told that we would have to take whatever child, if it was possible, we would have to. But we told them that actually we wanted a Jewish child, and they said they didn't think it was possible, but they would come back to us. In the meantime, we decided to. We didn't know what to do, so we discussed it, and we decided to call Rabbi Rabinowitz, who was the chief rabbi of Johannesburg at the time, of South Africa at the time.
So about 2 weeks later, Rabbi Rabinowitz phoned us and asked if we could come immediately, and we went. It was about the 4th of July, I remember, about not the 4th, the 3rd, the 2nd of July. And when we walked into his office, we were amazed to see that there was a little baby lying there. And he said this baby had been abandoned by his Jewish mother. We never found out who his father was, and if we wanted him, we must take him immediately.
But it was very dark. And we thought, we weren't so sure. We preferred to know who his father was.
But we decided for whatever reason to take him, and on the 4th of July we brought him home.
Hello, my name is Desmond Tutu. Some of you may know me from the South African Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We now have another big problem to solve, but that will prove to have a devastating impact for my children, not to mention my grandchildren's generation. The consequences could be conflict and instability, which are things we must avoid at any price.
Stephen was not a very easy child. In fact, he was very difficult. He was overactive, destructive. He beat up Leslie and Jonathan when they were eventually born, and we were scared that they would be questioned at school who was beating them. But
in fact, the school called, I thought it was me.
Or me.
Yeah.
But this went on for many years, and until suddenly there was a very big change, and he became very docile. He worked very hard at school. He was very interested in Torah and Jewish studies, and we even thought maybe he'd become a rabbi.
Yeah, he was very keen to become a rabbi.
Stephen and I actually met in a halfway house, like a reformatory. We weren't very old at that point, but we had had some tough times together, and you know, with all the trouble and the drugs and the alcohol, you know, we had gone through this withdrawal thing together, and we worked through it. And through that period, you could see he was getting more and more spiritual. It was clear that he was regretting his past. You know, and this is really what he was using religion as a way to kind of get in touch with who he really was inside. And it was wonderful to see the spiritual growth. It was something that astonished everyone. And out of this guy came this pure light. And, you know, he was a leader for all of us.
אני רוצה רק להגיד שמשפחת לוי לא הייתה כל כך שמחה כשפגשנו את סטיבן בפעם הראשונה. ופחות שמחים היינו כשענת באה והודיעה לנו שהם עומדים להתחתן. כששמענו שסטיבן היה נשוי קודם. וכשענת סיפרה גם את הסיבות לגירושים שלו, זה היה עוד יותר גרוע. אז אנחנו לא היינו כל כך שמחים שהוא נהיה בן המשפחה שלנו. אבל אחר כך ענת הסבירה לנו שסטיבן הוא עיתונאי מאוד חשוב, והוא היה מועמד לפרס פוליצר. ואז קיבלנו אותו, ובמשך השנים גם התרגלנו אליו, ועכשיו זה נראה די בסדר.
Stephen and I started Market Direct in the late 90s. And I had just recovered from a heavy operation. I got to an age that I said I don't want to work for a boss anymore, and Stephen had just left another partnership, when I asked him about it, he said, yeah, well, you know, the partnership with Bill, it seemed to me that the business model wasn't right, and I really couldn't get to the same door with that idea. And I was interesting because I said, so why? I mean, it looked like a very promising business, and well, I know that Bill thought very highly of Stephen, and he also said so, not even once, but even on several occasions.
Some people were saying, okay, that general approach wasn't good, but the team that Steve built, even within the company, to pursue that, even some days it felt a little ahead of its time. Steve gave a speech once, which is one of my favorites, where he talked about, in a certain sense, we build the products that we want to use ourselves. And, you know, so he's really pursued that with incredible taste and elegance that has had a huge impact on the industry. And his ability to always come around and figure out where that next bet should be has been phenomenal. You know.